The transfer window is raging on for Premier League clubs and other clubs around Europe, and Tottenham look like they want to do even more business. We've already signed Antonin Kinsky, who had a fantastic debut against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg, but there's other names being touted, and they include PSG striker / forward Randal Kolo Muani. So today on the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, I'm going to be saying that we should be signing Randal Kolo Muani and suggesting why. But if you are new to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, then drop us a like, subscribe and hit the notification bell, and let us know in the comments down below, should we be signing Randal Kolo Muani? So Randal Kolo Muani looks like it could be the transfer saga of the January window. Earlier in the week, there were reports from the likes of Romano and Ornstein saying that United, Juventus and also Tottenham were looking at the player.
Okay, let's look elsewhere in the Premier League then. Your one to watch on the deal sheet, Orny, this time around is probably one of the most high-profile players who could move in January, and that's PSG's Randal Kolo Muani. What can you tell us about his situation?
This is a fascinating one because, you know, when you've seen somebody like Kolo Muani, I was at the World Cup final in Doha and he started for France. He played well. It was the foot of Emi Martinez that denied him what would have probably been the match winner. And talking of Eintracht Frankfurt previously with Marmouche, this is a player who shone there in a relatively short spell after moving over from France. And he presents a very different profile from many of the other strikers around the continent and those on the market. And you don't normally see players with this capability available on loan. It just hasn't really gone well at PSG. You can see that by his performance data and his lack of game time. And so despite the fact that the deal that took him to PSG was worth sort of up to 90 million euros, now there's the opportunity potentially to grab him, whether it's loan with option, loan with obligation, a dry loan, and PSG rebuild his value and then make use of him subsequently or sell him. We'll have to wait and see. But it would be wrong for clubs like Tottenham and Manchester United and Juventus, who are looking for centre forwards and maybe versatile attackers who can also play off to the side. Because if you've seen Kolo Muani, he's sometimes stationed just behind the front man to the right, and therefore Tottenham have sort of identified him as their top target if they are to strengthen in that position. Manchester United are looking at it as well, and Juventus too. So they're the three teams at the moment of recording this that have been explained to me as being the leading contenders. That can obviously change at any moment, and they will all have other options as well. But you get the sense, because of the size of his name and the quality that he possesses, that he will be one of the biggest names we talk about this month.
Yeah, we have seen some reports, Crookie, from David Ornstein and some others suggesting that Manchester United and Tottenham are sort of trying to push for a move for Kolo Muani from
please
PSG.
No. Please no. No. This is an old Man United signing. This has got old Man United written all over it. Sorry.
Doesn't Vlahovic, though? Isn't that the same vibe?
Well, all I would say about Muani is I was told by a very good source yesterday that he was on the radar before they signed Rasmus Højlund.
And made the cut between the both of them, wasn't it?
And I'm not convinced this is necessarily a deal that United are going to follow up. They might do, just in terms of numbers and because he's available. But again, I'm told it's not a priority for them at the moment. Tottenham probably more likely destination.
And the wing-back situation, again, talks with
Mendes.
Lettenberg was saying that, there's some stuff with Mendes at left back / left wing back. I mean, would be a fantastic signing if we can get him, but PSG definitely wanting him to stay, and other suitors trying to get him. A really expensive one to do, though, Crookie.
Yeah, and I'm just not sure United have got those finances this window. And I also always get a bit concerned when you hear that a player's in contract talks. Oh, by the way, but Manchester United are interested. How much of that is their name being used to help his own cause? It wouldn't surprise me if United don't do a lot in terms of incomings this window. They're looking at the goalkeeper market. I think they were linked with someone at Royal Antwerp. There's some substance to that as far as I understand. But I think really the priority is on trimming the wage bill. The likes of Rashford Xerxes potentially, Casemiro for certain.
Yeah.
But now Alasdair Gold has given some insight into it and tweeted about the potential move. So he said Tottenham have held talks over signing Randal Kolo Muani from PSG with a loan deal with an option to be mooted. And, you know, with this signing, there's been a lot of debate over the play. You know, obviously he was a good or a great player for Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga, but at PSG it's been a bit of a different story. But before we get into that sort of thing, I just want to look at, you know, Tottenham's current injury, you know, crisis and record at the club, because this was shown on Sky Sports during the Liverpool coverage. There's a few players who are due back at the club quite soon, but there's a lot of forwards that we can't rely on at the moment. Obviously, Mikey Moore, who's not on this list, is back from an illness. Richarlison, it says that he is due back soon, but you know, we can never rely on his fitness. You got Wilson Odebear's not back till late February. Son has looked a bit off the pace. Timo Werner's not been good enough. A lot of pressure on Brennan Johnson, who's sort of not been at the same level the last couple of weeks. Yang's just turned up at the club. So a lot of it is, you know, on Dominic Solanke or Kulusevski to pull rabbits out the hat. So that's why Kolo Muani is being highly sought after by Spurs. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago I was unsure about the move, but after doing some research, and funny enough, I did a video, like, I think not the summer just gone, the summer before, when I launched the channel, saying that we should have basically, when we sold Harry Kane, brought him in, but obviously it didn't happen because he, you know, Harry Kane was being linked to PSG. I thought it could have been like a swap deal sort of thing. But if we look at Kolo Muani, this season, it's not the best of reading. We know, obviously, the player can play through the middle, but he can also play left wing and right wing. So he is versatile enough to play across that whole, you know, forward line. He's done it for France. He's impressed for France in certain games. You know, in that World Cup final, he came on and he could have won it for France, but Emi Martinez saved fantastically with his legs. But then, you know, if we look at his record in 10 games in the league and 4 games in the Champions League, so 14 games in total, he's only scored twice, and those 2 goals came in Ligue 1, and he obviously got 1 assist as well in 453 minutes, 350 of them being in the league and 103 being in the Champions League. He's just not favoured at PSG. PSG is a strange club. It's a basket case of a club. You know, they went through that whole like MSN, not even MSN, Messi, Neymar, and obviously Mbappe and Eminem, I think that is, isn't it? But yeah, they went through all that and that didn't work out. Now they've gone down this young French route, and, you know, trying to get a bit of, I mean, obviously Kolo Muani isn't young, but they wanted to get that sort of French influence on the team. But that hasn't worked out either. Luis Enrique, you know, has not really impressed on the European stage with PSG. So it looks like they want to move him on, and he is not, you know, a staple at the club. But I don't think we should take away his time from PSG. Maybe we can put that to one side, because a lot of players struggle with that league to really, you know, light it up. Whereas at Frankfurt, he was very, very impressive. And obviously, if we look at his, you know, club-by-club breakdown of goals in games, you know, FC Nantes and Boulogne, he had quite, you know, mixed records, you know, not too bad. You know, quite impressive actually at Nantes, but Boulogne a bit different, but, you know, different sort of club, isn't it? And then at Frankfurt was where he really came to fruition. 50 appearances, 26 goals, 17 assists in around 3,922 minutes. And then PSG, obviously, 54, 11 and 7, which is not amazing readings. Obviously, 26 years old. He should be hitting the peaks of his powers. But a lot of people were suggesting, you know, he's far off it. But there's a lot of interest around him, as I say. Manchester United, Juventus sniffing around. Juventus eyeing up another striker. United could do with some more firepower, and us as well. So it's going to be a key battle. But it seems like Tottenham are willing to, you know, look at that obligation to buy. Whereas I think some of the other clubs are not as keen. And it depends what PSG really want for him. I can imagine they'd want about £50 million to recoup some of the money they invested on him. But is that worth it? I mean, I think that's a lot of what the deals we do, isn't it? We loan a player in and see if it's going to make sense. But we're going to have a gap. Werner will not be staying at the club long term. So there is going to be a gap in the squad. And maybe it is a good sort of backup player to Dominic Solanke. He's played a lot of minutes. It'd be good to rest him occasionally. Maybe another winger option. You know, he's going to be pacey and he's going to provide some different sort of outlet for Tottenham. If we look at his strength and weaknesses, he's a good dribbler. You know, that's obviously really, really vital in an Ange Postecoglou system. Key passes, that's obviously really good because we need to sort of have those sort of players who can sort of really find those dangerous passes. And his finishing is supposedly strong, according to Who Scored. So that is, you know, vital. But obviously his goal scoring record hasn't been amazing. His weaknesses are holding onto the ball, which, you know, a striker sometimes in the Ange Postecoglou system has to do. Look at Dominic Solanke's work, crossing and defensive contribution. So as a winger, it'd be good if he could track back a little. And Randal Kolo Muani's style of play, he likes to dribble, he gets fouled often, likes to do layups, likes to play short passes, and commits fouls often. So he is a mixed sort of player, which is interesting to see. You know, he can offer something that we don't necessarily have, and we could actually, well, we do actually need in a different position. So I am quite interested in this. There's not many other options out there at the moment. You know, the forward market in the summer is usually a struggle. So at this time of year, it's even harder. So I like it. I think it makes sense. If we could get a loan, and we, you know, if you think about the games we've got coming up, we've got a hard Premier League season to finish off and hopefully maybe push for some European football. We've got, or higher up the table at least, you've got the Carabao Cup, second leg against Liverpool, hopefully get to the final after that. You've got, hopefully we'll go on an FA Cup run as well, and you've got the Europa League that we need to wrap up and, you know, progress in that competition. So there's a lot of football yet to play at Spurs, and a lot of these players who have been injured might not be in form. So we do need other options. But you're going to have to let me know in the comments down below. Do you think we should sign Randal Kolo Muani, or do you think we should be looking at someone else? And if it is, give me your names down below. But that's all we've got time for today. So leave your likes, leave your comments, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And until next time, I'll see you very soon. Ciao.